Welcome to Din's Talk, the space where soul wisdom meets bold action. I'm Mia Dins, your host, here to ignite your fire, help you claim your power, and guide you to take unstoppable steps towards your dream. Every episode is designed to awaken your purpose, fuel your passion, and spark transformation in your life. It's time to step into your truth and never stop. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful soul. Thank you for joining again, Din's Talk. Let's talk soul to another beautiful episode. And I have a special guest today. And I'm really excited about this episode today and talking about something really dear to my heart too, talking about frequencies, about sounds, and of course, how it impacts your nervous system, your body, your entire being. And I will let Kylie introduce herself. She will talk a bit about herself, her background, and then we get right into it. And yeah, I'm excited, guys, and let's dive into it. So, Kylie.
I am so happy to be here today with you. And my name's Kylie Eddington. I do sound healing in the Topeka, Kansas area, and I travel around the smaller towns also. I also sell real estate in this area too. I've been a realtor for many years, and I have 4 children that are growing up now, 2 in college and 2 in high school. And so, as you can imagine, I've had a little bit of stress in my life over the years with managing a lot of different things. And so, how I got started in sound healing was just I needed to find a way to calm my own nerves. And my first experience with sound was in an energy genesis machine where I just took a nap as like a bed. And there's only 7 of these in the world. And Topeka, Kansas has one, and it uses sound and light therapy. And so once I laid in that bed for 3 days in a row, I immediately was able to sleep like a baby. I had a normal sleep cycle. And so that just was a fascinating thing to me that sound could instantly help calm you down so quickly and put you into a state of rest. And so last year was a tough year financially in real estate. And I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? I am going to get certified in sound healing and I am going to help other people um, calm themselves down because it's been a tough few years for a lot of people. And so I just saw an opportunity that Topeka, Kansas didn't have a lot of that here. It's kind of a new thing here. We're right smack in the middle of the United States, and it takes some of the trendy things a little while to get to these areas. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to try it and see if people will come, see, if they're interested and if it helps them as much as it helped me. And I had never even been to a sound bath before, but I just went online. I found a really great program and got certified. I started holding sound baths on the beach by my house at a lake and at sunset. And that's where it all began. Grounding in the sand with the sound frequencies and calling the birds in and the animals. It's a beautiful experience. And then I began teaching at Genesis Health Clubs in Topeka. I teach at both clubs and brought that to them. And then I started just holding sessions in different towns and cities around Topeka. And it's kind of just grown from there.
Mhm. Wow, that was a whole nice little, like snippet. I was be talking
kind
what?
of kind of how we got here. If times hadn't been hard for me last year, I probably never would have done this because I was too busy selling real estate. But once the interest rates have went up and the economy has been really hard over here for a couple years, um, my business slowed down to where I had time to ponder life and decide, how was I going to handle my stress through these really hard times.
Mhm.
And so that's, what like pushed me to explore that and just take the leap.
Mhm. Wow, I'm so glad you did. And I love how you said, firstly, to wind back for the audience, I think you missed that important part. You are a single mom of 4. You are like raising your children by yourself, right? That's another added.
Yeah, they I split custody with their father. And then of course now that they're older, the 2 are in college, the kids are all doing great. But those early days of raising 4 babies, they were all under the age of 7, when I was in my 20s then. And it's quite the journey. You grow up with your children. You learn a lot about yourself, and self-care is hard when you have 4 little babies. You don't really have time to do things for yourself. And so as they've gotten older, I've learned how important self-care is, to just take care of your mental and emotional so that you can be a healthy parent for them.
Mhm. Yeah. And just for the audience, because I mean, look at you. I just wanna point that out, not because it is about the external, but because you just mentioned, right? Yeah, you were in your 20s and now they're in college. Like, I mean, you are in your mid 40s, right? Like, and we
Yes.
can, I mean, I just want to applaud that, because this is what I'm talking about. This is when you really are consciously taking care of yourself in any sense, and working with all the resources you have at that time available. I'm sure, I mean, I have no idea how it is to even have one child, let alone four. But you probably did like little mini things maybe that were possible for you. Maybe these 5 minutes here and there to recalibrate yourself, whatever is possible. So and you can see that, and you didn't let yourself go. You took care of yourself, right? Like you were exercising, and your nutrition was great, I believe, when we spoke about it.
Yeah, except for sugar. I have a little problem with sugar, but otherwise I'm gluten free, and I have food allergies, so I had to cut out a lot of things from my diet. But I've always been active with my kids as far as exercise. They're all really athletic, and always made sure we were outside in nature and going for walks and exploring those things. So it's always been an active lifestyle for sure.
Mhm. That's great. And we're coming back to the moment. So we're talking about, you had like, they were like tough years for you. And then when you woke up one morning, because you obviously had a bit of more time. And that's the beauty that I also want to point out, because when we are so busy, no matter what, if you're busy with just, with work or stressful things that we perceive as stressful, or even good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
myself lately doing that. I keep myself busy. I study good things, and I do energy work and this. And I didn't allow time to just be empty, to just like, be, even though of course I have my
Yeah.
meditation in the morning and stuff like that. But there was a lot on my plate, even though it's good things. You can even also
Yeah.
overemphasize, distract yourself with going to the gym instead of like sitting with something that needs to come out first, whatever it is. But you obviously created that space, which is beautiful, right? And you woke up one morning, and then boom, you decided. How was that feeling? I mean, you literally, your soul was talking to you. You had the space, and
Yeah.
right, you were taking action.
Yeah. Yeah. When you create space and a quietness in your life, you can hear those promptings and those things that come to you, and you're able to explore those, and you become more creative. And I have a lot of those things. I feel like sleeping's number one. Getting enough rest when your body's in fight or flight is the most important thing. And if you can get good sleep, then your mind can be the most creative. And when you wake up, or even, later in the day, you may have a different part of the day where you're creative. But I find that at nighttime is when my mind really gets to work and like works out some things, and I'll
Mm,
wake up feeling refreshed, and then I have these ideas that come to me. But you have to create the space to calm your life down. And you're so right about so many things can take over, and they can all be good things. When my kids were smaller and I was doing a lot at school, volunteering, helping, working part-time, all their sports events, all those things, there was, it's hard to have a day where you just chill. So that's super important when you have kids, to not keep them super busy, so they understand that there's got to be time for rest in your life. That's the only way that you're going to have the energy to keep going and not have burnout.
mm. I love that we go right into this topic, because it's actually one of my main topics at the moment, about the burning out, the trauma that is stored in the body, the like being overactive and not resting enough, because I experience it myself with my own life, but also being an athlete and constantly pushing. And then you have these paradigms of like, yeah, sleep is for the wicked, and like this typical
I
like
know.
my first boxing coach, like basically picking me up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning, and my nervous system was already like right in the, like in the masculine energy. I'm glad I experienced that, but now I need something totally different. And I was still traumatized, and I still have to wake up later. I'm playing around with my sleeping cycle at the moment to allow my body to tell me what it really needs, because I also had this of like, you only need 6 hours sleep, get up at 4 all the time. I love my early morning hours. I really, really love them, but I used to force more than it was aligning most of the time, and my body never had enough recovery. And with all the training I did, I could eat as well as I wanted to, do all the whatever other stuff, but I really was lacking. The last year I really recalibrated that. And I honestly, when we go also through healing, and your nervous system starts to calm down, you actually want to just sleep. And I was so like not familiar with that, because I'm also very energetic and have lots of fire and, passion and drive and whatnot. I'm not used to this. I was like, had to battle with like, oh, I'm lazy. What's wrong? What's going on? And I had fear of this is going to be forever. And I'm here in Spain, in the country. I don't know anybody. I don't have my family around, nothing. So it was even more, I was alone with it. And I just had to allow. Literally, I shed layers by layers, and I just allowed. And I said, okay, my body will tell me it's a cycle. I'm just flowing through it. If it takes me a couple of months that I need more sleep, then so be it. And I just had to let go. And it was beautiful how I do my nomadic lifestyle with the house sits and whatever gig I'm landing. And it was always aligned. I always was trying, my mind was always trying to be like, I need to be around the gym. I need to be close to some sort of boxing team, because my nervous system was so used to it. I was
You needed excitement. Yeah.
And of course, I'm not saying I love exercising and movement. It's how I express myself, and it's just what I am and who I am. But I needed to be away from that for a while. I had to be stripped off. It was kind of protection. So I actually go inward and allow that to happen, because if I didn't, if I would have had my usual environment that I'm used to, I realize that. So it's really important to emphasize that also for the listeners. Sleep. I'm the same. I'm with you. I process sleep. I process so much. When I have stuff going on, I work and do have invocations before I go to sleep, and ask and tune in with my soul and ask, show me the blocks. What do I need to do? In the next morning, you wake up with it and you process so much. You can actually basically wake up like a complete new human, if you allow that, because it's crazy.
It really is.
I find that
if you have to make the choice between, because you're so busy, if you have to make the choice between sleep and exercise, you need to choose sleep until you get yourself calmed, regulated, and rested, and then you can jump back into your exercise hardcore. But I found that gentle exercise for me, gentle yoga, walking, I've had to embrace a calmer lifestyle that is more healing to my body. Really extensive exercise seems to deplete, the nutrients and things like that in some people that are very sensitive. So a calmer way of living and sound healing, combine that with light exercise, and you really have all that you need. Sleep and eat well.
I love when you say that you have to choose sleep, because that is exactly what I had to learn. I had to choose rest over like the constant pushing. And the funny thing is, or the most important part here is, once you rested, it may be 2 hours more sleep you need. It may be the full day, whatever it is, you have to really surrender to it. And then the next day, boom, you have all this power, and then actually your body will be activated, and then you can really work with your muscles. The nutrients will be metabolized. And also when we constantly are, and that's what I had to realize through my own body, constantly being in this fight or flight mode through the stressors of exercising, my immunity was down. I was constantly sick. You will hold on to whatever weight gain, and you can be you can have a low caloric intake, you can do everything, but if your stress levels are constantly, your cortisol is up, your body is storing all that. And I had to really learn that, because I was looking, man, I'm doing everything, I should be like in the best shape ever, but I was nervous system, the rest it needed, and the recalibration through night, I was just not allowing it. And that was the key for resting. And of course, I'm still finding my rhythm between the right balance now, because I still very much needing my fiery energy burst out, and of course thing. But for me, it's important once I have like a really, you know, like hard session to really also counterbalance that with some nice, you know, energetic work and yoga, and it's all part of my day. So yeah, it's
really, really any movement is going to improve. If you only have 15 minutes a day, just that small amount of time, if you could just do some stretching or yoga or Pilates or hop on a treadmill for 10 minutes or just go for a quick walk. I mean, any movement, our muscles, I wanted to make sure I mentioned this, our muscles release myokines, which they call the hope molecule. And so our body releases that and it goes to every organ, every tissue and your brain, and it literally increases the serotonin and all the happy chemicals. So they say that just exercising every day can like decrease depression by so much. So any movement is like giving your body a shot of hope. And so that's what I love about that. I never knew about the myokine chemical until I started learning about sound healing.
It's the first time I actually hear about this term, to be honest. But
Yeah.
with everything I work with energetically, intuitively, it does totally make sense, because even checking it out, jumping, you know, on the spot, your favorite song, it's just about movement, just moving energy, walk through it. Like it's amazing. Even an experience this morning, I had a great sleep, 8 hours sleep. Wow, I'm, luxury pure, and it was great. But I had some emotional blockages and some fears coming up. And honestly, I just let it be. I don't try to fix anything or journal it away or whatever. And then I have my morning routine where I move a little. Could be like a shake, a little bit of yoga, breathing, combination of everything, whatever I need. And it's not a set routine. It's just whatever. And honestly, the moment I started to twist my spine and I was just like flowing a little bit, I started crying. And it was releasing, and instantly I felt much better. Before I even had a fully tied back and everything was so tight, and the moment I did that, it was completely shifting and moving out of the body. It was crazy. And then of course the realization came. It was about, it's really amazing. Like just a simple movement, like take long, 5 minutes. And
I know that reminds me of the crying. So every time you cry, your cortisol decreases by 30%. So it is actually, you will be thinner and you will lose weight if you just cry, when you need to cry. It literally kind of helps your body's metabolism and everything. And that's how God designed us, was to get that trauma out by crying, get that release out, and it literally resets your body. That's fascinating.
I find it fascinating because you just remind me of something years or in general before, because I was taught to not cry, right? To have this full on masculine energy. 3 brothers, and also being trained as an athlete since I'm 3. You get trained like a man, and don't show weakness and just be strong. And of course I have rewired that over the years. But I remember when I started working with the moon cycles, gosh, it was over 10 years ago, like remembering again. And then I always hated the full moon because I felt like I'm sponging up so much, right? Hold on to so much water.
Me
and honestly,
too. I used to dread the full moons. They would things go haywire,
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be ugly when there's the full moon. I had this full on, like water retention, and I was like, but I haven't eaten anything different, and I'm exercising, I'm sweating, I'm doing it all. And what happened, the interesting part was when I actually then had somewhat of release, like let's say I was talking to my best friend and I was crying. I honestly, the next day you could I dropped the whole weight, not even just the next day, already in the crying process, but obviously it was mostly at night. And then waking up, you feel like, oh my gosh, you feel like literally you slimmed down. You just literally cried it all out, just like you said. And I also realized over the last year, I've allowed myself to cry so much, and not always about understanding why I'm crying, just letting it go. Sometimes it's just, I'm going for a run, and all of a sudden I have like whatever, a memory coming, and I just need to cry it out quickly for 1 second, 1 minute, whatever. And then okay, cool. Hey, butterflies, and it's not about, it's not about, that's what I'm trying to also bring out to the audience and to people I work with. It's not about like being in it all the time. You don't have to marinate in it and curl up for hours. If that is the case, sometimes that happens, so let it be. But it's not always about, sometimes just have a little cry. It's like a release. It's just like a little, like when you get a little bit of anger or frustration, right? Or when you get a happy fit, like you start laughing all of a sudden, like children, you would know, children are so intuitive. They have tantrums. They have tantrums wherever they are, whether it's in a supermarket, at home, of course, in a supermarket.
They don't care. They don't care what people think. They're very authentic. Like they're gonna do whatever.
Because I heard that just a year ago or so, someone said like it's basically the intuitive innate wisdom from the body that this doesn't get stored as trauma. There's some sort of energy moving through them, either from within themselves, they picked up maybe something from you, or from the surroundings, maybe they picked something up in the kindergarten, whatever it is, they move, and it's actually so beautiful. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, it really is. It's awesome. I love it.
So now talking about I love how you also have the science background, because I love getting geeky about those things with the body.
Yeah.
A bit of understanding and solid background, and because most people think this is woo-woo, but it's far away from woo-woo. This is actual science, the frequencies and how our body really resonate with that, really actually resonance, and it's also aligned with nature and everything. So coming to the sound healing, so what was your first experience? Obviously you had this like frequency bed, which I want to actually look up. Never heard about that.
I'll send you some info on it.
Pretty cool. And how beautiful it's there where you live, right? There are only 7 in the world available, and right there it is all beautifully lined for you to that this is your gift. And what your first experience with the sound healing, and how did you start? And tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got certified last summer and started doing the beach sessions, and the quartz crystal is what I use, and I'm sure I could expand into more instruments and probably some type of gongs and drums and those things, because if you think about even just music, you go to a concert, you can feel the vibrations of the drums and all the different frequencies coming from different bands and different songs that you can feel through your body. The quartz crystal bowls is what I use. They're easy to carry and to travel with and move around. They are aligned to match the frequency found in the human body. So the quartz crystal is the closest match to our organs, to the frequency that the human body gives off. So it makes them highly effective for healing. When you combine the energy of quartz and the sound, it's just a very strong combination that can calm your parasympathetic system, which is responsible for the body's rest and relaxation response. So that's going to lead to decreased anxiety and tension. It's going to improve your sleep. It's emotional healing. It kind of like rewires your brain, and all you have to do is lay there with your eyes closed or sit in a quiet position. It facilitates emotional release, like crying. Vibrations help release pent-up emotions, and it also increases your mindfulness. It's going to bring you to the present moment, because if your eyes are shut and you're feeling the vibrations of music, you are in the moment. You are literally feeling it through your body. It helps you stay grounded, aware, benefiting both your mental health and just your daily life, so that you can be the best version of you, the calmest version of you, to deal with all of life. As you're done with your sound bath and you get up and you go on with your day, it just kind of resets you. It's literally like a reset button for your entire body. Pain relief. A lot of people have relief from physical pain literally during the sound bath or right after. It promotes circulation, reduces tension in your muscles, and just supports overall healing. One session can last in your body up to 2 months. So you can come see me once every 2 months, and it's going to set that process in motion in your body where it can actually continue to improve over the next 8 weeks with just that one session. That's how powerful it is. It's like a detox for your cells and every part of your body, your DNA, and it can have detox symptoms depending how toxic you are. So I let everybody know that at the beginning of the sessions that, it could cause headaches, nausea, some of those detox, like when you go get a massage, because massages work trauma out of muscles. Sound healing is working trauma out of your nervous system and every other part. Once your nervous system is aligned, it affects every part of your body. So there can be some detox symptoms, but they should go away fairly quickly, and then the healing process can begin. So the more that you come, the more positive things you'll notice will start happening. And so I've had a lot of people kind of tell me what their experiences have been since they've been coming to my session. So it's been kind of cool to hear that. And I've had my own health, even though I can't lay down and sleep or completely relax because I'm the one playing the sound bowls, I still have had a lot of physical and emotional improvement since last summer. My skin is better. I've had better sleep. I've just been calmer overall, just, more, I guess, accepting, letting go of things we can't control. And it just kind of helps you deal with, general life stress.
So
Yeah.
and of course you will have benefits because you are in the vibration, right? You will pick up the frequency, and
Yeah.
I love that. And the quartz bowls, they sound amazing, and also makes it easy for you. You can transport them. My first experience with sound bath healing, oh gosh, it was, I would say, maybe 2020 or something in New Zealand. I had one of my soul sisters. She asked, oh, someone is doing that. It was really great. And I think I fell asleep, yeah, because there was also time, very much a lot was going on in my nervous system. But it was really beautiful. I had a really beautiful experience with that. And that was time I really had it like in person. And now I don't know what your opinion is about that, but for someone, for example, who wants to explore it and doesn't have access to like a sound bath healer like you, what do you think about using YouTube videos? I put them on, because it's still frequency that comes. Of course, it's much better when you do it
Yeah.
but that could be a nice starter. What would you give as an advice?
Yeah. What I do at night that I put earbuds in before I go to sleep, or anytime you're feeling nervous or stressed, if you could just pop your earbuds in and play binaural beats, or solfeggio frequencies. If you just Google one of those on, if you use Spotify or YouTube, there's all sorts of different combinations of those. And it's literally the same thing as a sound bath, but you're just not going to get that full vibrational feeling as if you were there in person. But it's still using the earbuds. It's putting that music so close to your brain that it literally is kind of whatever was bothering your head emotionally or physical pain. It kind of just snaps. It kind of just snaps your brain back into hey, we're going to reset you right now. So if you can just listen to that for like 15 minutes when you're stressed or right before you go to sleep, you maybe even while you're doing some stretching, before bed or something or early in the morning, it's just going to kind of reset your brain.
I love that. I used to just sleep with it, like sleep through it, like years ago. Then it always changes, but I always on in the morning, even when I make my food, because the vibration that goes in, goes into your food as well.
Yes.
Body. Yeah, I find that very important. So when in some shape or form I will have it always on, and then of course sometimes then I know, for example, if before like a boxing fight or like a hard training, I would have like specific frequencies for my body, and then afterwards for recovery, or when I go through childhood wounds a little bit, when my inner child needs a little bit more attention, then I more about either directly there. There's so many frequencies available, and there's so big. But most of the time, I keep it these days very generic about, it could be love, divine love, and opening up the heart. And I mean, it's amusement park for, I think, if you can.
They really all can benefit every part of you, but there are some targeted for specific things. Of course, my favorite is the miracle frequency, the 528 hertz. And that's my white bowl. And you can Google the 528 hertz and listen to music that is specifically to that frequency. And that's the miracle frequency that can literally, they've proved this in science, it can repair DNA. And so I think the medical community is really using a lot of sound healing now to heal all sorts of disease and things that kind of just puts everything back together. And each one of our organs have its own specific frequency. So it literally can align your organs back into the proper space and alignment in your body when you do sound healing frequently. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. There are certain frequencies that can also make us feel energy or excitement versus relaxed and sleepy. So depending on like morning, you could search up the frequencies that are for energy and excitement to listen to, or, before a workout, and then bedtime, try to look up the bedtime frequencies so that they're more of the calming frequency.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And since we have like this amazing tool of, internet and everything is available, it's so easy. And even the AI, we can just ask about it and we'll just give you everything, which is so amazing, which I love.
It really is. Yeah, it is.
Like there's these two types of talks out there, people who just like, oh, it's so bad, and others like just seeing it as a creation, and for us to everything available. Yeah, that's how I see it.
I mean, it's another tool for us to use. You don't want to become like 100% dependent on it, but it absolutely can help educate you about so many things.
Yeah. And that's why it's so easy for people to just go and search some frequencies and whatever they have an ailment. Have you used it like for specific, just for your experience, for specific body things where you thought, okay, I want to target something? Let's say you had like lower back pain, or you said you had like gut issues. Have you used it with that as well? How was your experience?
I usually use all of them, just all the bowls, so that you're just literally covering all the bases. And I mostly do group sessions. I haven't gotten too much into individual just because I haven't advertised or targeted it that way. But I have added like the somatic yoga with it. So I'll do, depending on where I'm teaching, I will do a little bit of yoga and stretching to loosen the body up, shaking. We'll stand up and we'll just shake, those kinds of things. So that way we're kind of targeting more of the somatic release before we lay down and rest, before they lay down and rest. So kind of the full picture of movement, to get those hope molecules going, and then lay down and let your body just absorb the vibrations so that you can, get the full cleansing and detox process done.
No, absolutely. And did you have like some clients or groups that you work with, and you have some returning people coming? Have they, shared their experience with you? And
yes, I had a really interesting one. A lady came to a sound bath and she only came to one. But while she was there, she said that COVID had taken away her taste and her smell. And one of her salivary glands was blocked. One had come unblocked a few weeks prior, but she still had one where there wasn't enough saliva being produced because it literally clogged it up. During the sound bath, she felt a little pop back here in her jaw, throat area. And all of a sudden she had saliva production. So just enough, it was enough of a vibration. She was right next to the crystal bowls and it literally just popped and it was cleared. I've had other people say with PTSD and some of those really hard emotional things that they've dealt with for many years. I have an older gentleman that comes to every one of my classes. And so he's been to, I don't know how many now. He started back in October, and he's like, it changed my life. He's like, I've tried everything, you know, fitness, all these things, but now I'm older, you know, he can't exercise super hard because he's older, and he's got body aches and pains and shoulder problems and emotional things. And he's like, it literally changed my life coming to these sessions. He's like, I just feel different. And a lot of people can't explain what it is or what's better. They don't even have a specific thing. It's just, I just feel different and I feel better and I'm just calmer. So those are the main things.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's energy, right? And I know the mind will try to grasp onto it and try to explain it, but it just happens. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. There's some things that just aren't totally explainable in this life. So,
But it all refers back to that the wisdom is already within us, you know, the codes are already within us. Our body has it all, just needs the ability to work to its highest potential. Like you said with the lady with the saliva production, the glands, you know, of the taste buds. How amazing is that? That was just the frequency that helped her to unlock. It's so beautiful. I love that. I guess get goosebumps when I hear those stories because they're just so beautiful. And we need to hear more and more about that, right? And of course, she was obviously ready and to do that and open to let it go. There was no like, oh, I'm going to the session. I want to have my taste back. She would have never had it, but she was going to the session to be, I guess she had probably no intention in that way. And it just happened. That's happens when we're not so focused on that, and it happens. That's how you can say
absolutely. It's just, you know, another tool that we're always trying new things to for our fitness and our health, people that are interested in those things. And it's just another tool, you know, to use to see if it works for you. And everybody's going to have different responses, and maybe they don't even like the sounds of it, you know, but it literally doesn't matter if you like it or not. Your body can still have some benefits from it.
Yeah. Coming to that partner, we spoke about that also with science. Like, what is the biggest myth you have heard about sound healing? And is there something you want to?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, sound healing's been around for thousands of years. It's from the beginning of time, because you think about it, people played drums. The sound of the ocean waves is a sound frequency that calms your nervous system. That's why we feel calm. Everybody on earth feels calm when you sit by water. I don't care who you are. If you hear ocean waves, a river running, a stream, it is naturally a grounding, calming effect. And so that's what sound healing is. It's a natural thing on this earth, and everything has a frequency. And I think the biggest myth has been that it's some new age, weird practice. And it's just not. It is literally what the earth is made of. The stars, the moon, they all have a frequency, and they literally have sounds. The trees have sounds, the grass has a sound, and they're proving that through science now.
Yes, please, because it's like it is true, and that's why the best tool you can use that doesn't cost anything is nature. Just find anything wherever you live, just eating a tree, connecting thing with the leaves, whatever, it will just calm you down. You don't even have to do anything. How powerful nature is. It will
It
absorb.
is amazing. Just like bees, the sound of bees humming, that's a frequency. The crickets in the summer, frogs chirping, just those sounds, repeated sounds that you listen to, it's all a vibrational frequency that's healing.
I just hear the birds out chirping right
Did
now.
you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I love waking up to that in the morning, and then I love doing yoga. You can go on the rooftop, and I don't need any. I do like to use sounds for my morning flow as well, but my sound, you know, the birds, then the ducks, and you know, hearing the leaves from the trees and the wind and stuff like that, or even that drives by from the neighbor. You know, even that is part of the sound. You know, I had to learn that too. I used to find that very disturbing, and of course, if I mean, I'm not talking about cars. You're lying right next to the motorway, although Yeah, that could
Yeah.
be quite calming too, because if it's like a rhythm, like a
It's
constant.
like a humming. It's like a hum. So yeah.
Not
Some-
my preferred way of relaxing, but it may calm
Yeah.
people down. But yeah, just those little things, and for people to just be more aware and actually observe themselves, be like, okay, I just had a super stressful meeting or discussion with my partner, or my kids were just doing my head in, and then the moment they stand outside and just listen to the wind or the birds, whatever, how it
Mm-hmm.
everything, it doesn't, I'm not saying that
Oh,
it's still the same, or the challenge you had is still what it was or is, but it will change how you perceive it and how you respond. Very powerful. That's why when you started doing this work, you were much more calmer, and you had all these benefits in your body, you're radiating, and
mm-hmm.
it's and all the stressful
Yeah.
factors with the business and economy, it would still there, right? It's still,
Yeah.
but you just
Yep.
look at it differently and have a calm nervous system. How's that experience?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think we've mentioned the subconscious mind, but that's kind of what this really is. I mean, sound healing goes straight to the subconscious mind, and that's why you can't consciously do anything. You just sit there, and that's the best thing about this. You don't have to be performing. Nobody has to do a perfect yoga move. You can just literally be yourself, relax, be in the moment, take a nap or don't take a nap. You can pray, you can meditate, you can do whatever you want while you're listening, but it's going to reach your subconscious mind. And that's the part that we all have a hard time with. Our subconscious mind makes a lot of our decisions for us. And with our limiting beliefs and things that we've been taught over the years. And so, as we open our minds up to healing, we learn that we can retrain our subconscious mind with self love and self compassion. And sound healing is self compassion and caring for yourself enough that you're going to learn how to calm yourself down and make your life better by doing so. And it's just coming back to the present moment, like you said. It's all about just being in the present, because that's all we have. All we have is today and this moment. And even if the day's really hard, if you can find 5 or 10 minutes of joy, drinking a cup of coffee, listening to music, going for a walk and being in nature, then you've served your purpose for the day. You've done what you need to do. Take a nap, care for yourself, just show yourself some love. That's the biggest thing you can do. The 4 things that I always say to myself, and I try to remember to tell the people in my classes, is as you were breathing and kind of getting ready to lay down and feel the vibrations of this, you just say to yourself, I am grounded, I am centered, I am at peace, and I am calm. And that literally just tells your subconscious mind and your nervous system that everything's fine. You're not in danger right now. You don't have to be in fight or flight. You don't have to be highly productive right at this moment. You can just be you. Just rest in that and know that you're right where you're supposed to be. And even if you don't believe it that day when you're saying it, the more you repeat those things to yourself, and especially out loud, the more your body calms and realizes that everything's okay, that you're going to take care of yourself, and everything is fine. It really is.
Mm-hmm. I felt already like grounded and calm and centered when you're just talking about it. It's just the energy, right? And it's beautiful, and that's our natural state. And just before we probably wrap it up, 2 things I want to say. Firstly, you mentioned before, you can use it in any shape or form, even to activate you, right? For people when they
Mm-hmm.
athletes, like I used it and I still use it when I
Yes.
did it, to energize you. Or you have
Mm-hmm.
like a big meeting or project ahead and you want to have more energy and you want to be really laser focused. I put that on when I have a lot, when I want to get through a lot within an hour, in a good way, because I know I can be very scattered because my mind is multifaceted. So I laser sharp focus, and then I put on, and it just help, honestly, like wonder, boom, I'm in it, and it just supports the system. That is support. The other one I love, that you said with the subconscious mind and the nervous system. And for example, with me, like constantly, like that, I can only say from my own experience, like constantly being in fight or flight mode with the scarcity thinking and survival mode, since day one,
Yes.
where I was
Yeah.
born, family, and
Mm-hmm.
but finances and never having enough and blah blah blah, and you constantly,
Mm-hmm.
whole nervous system is calibrated for that frequency. So I don't know any
Yeah.
until the day I realized there's something different. And then that opens up the whole Pandora box, because then you start to recondition your nervous system. And whenever
Yeah.
and it is obviously a process. And whenever I get now into this kind of scarcity thinking, I first relax. I just relax and calm myself down, because when I come from the fear-based, like with my nervous system and the energy, I make
Yeah.
decisions based on fear, not on calmness, relaxation, abundance. And that's my old self, and I catch that. Of course, sometimes it may take me a couple of minutes, sometimes maybe even
Yeah.
longer. Very sneaky. The more advanced you get, the more sneaky it
Yes.
comes in. And sometimes
Yeah.
a couple of seconds, yeah, I caught that. And just breathing. I probably don't,
Yes.
frequencies available, but then just breathing, or then nature, right? Nature, of course,
Yeah.
right there. And then coming from that space and making a decision has changed my entire life. Like, it's amazing, because I
I
knew
have.
my nervous system was addicted to constantly being in stress and survival mode and worrying about finances and not having enough, this kind of thing. And I was really an addiction. So
Me too. It's a self-sabotaging thing that I think most of us do. Most of us have been in fight or flight, and we self-sabotage. And so if you can come up with a few phrases like the I am grounded, I am centered, I am calm, I am safe, if you can literally just have that become second nature to you to say when you start to feel your mind get out of control and you can feel your pity party coming on and your self-sabotage. I'm the queen of pity parties. I have been in the past. I am the queen. I will throw a fabulous pity party.
yeah,
And so that's what I've been working on. My mind instantly goes to a negative pattern of, oh, poor me. Another bad thing happened to me. Another financial thing happened. And so I have been in that scarcity mindset also. And I'm learning to, you know what? That's not true. That's not true anymore. That's not true for me. Abundance is okay for me to have. It's totally fine and a good thing for me. And you have to think of that different, that I do deserve that. I am lovable. I am someone that deserves to have abundance and prosperity. And so I'm going to attract that into my life through calming myself down and through showing myself that there's self-love and compassion, that it's okay to feel sad at times, but then you got to pull yourself out of that.
mm,
And self-care is one of the main ways to pull yourself out of the depression and the sadness,
mm.
is by literally showing yourself the compassion that you need. Just like you show your family and your friends compassion, you got to show that to yourself too.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. That's beautiful. And that's something we all have to learn, because we got taught, the difference, like go, push harder, hustle, hustle. Yes, that has its place, but in a different way. Come from alignment, not from fear.
Yes.
And I had to really rewire my system to that, because I'm so used to this, and especially that got even more enhanced through, being an athlete, all my life,
Yes.
pushing. And
Mhm.
I still have some old imprints there that I still, like layers that I'm still letting go and shedding, because that is just like when you have
Mhm.
so long and you hear it all the time, just your second nature, right? And
Yeah, it is.
a good challenge, and I love a good challenge, physically, mentally, in all shapes and forms. But coming from alignment, then be like, okay, life, there's some learning here to do. How can I grow? What do I need to do? How do I need to expand my vessel? What is my mindset? Being excited about that, rather from coming
Yes.
already beaten, and you're already like, a beaten dog on the floor, and then someone else coming, come on, get up, and then of course swearing, move now. It doesn't work for me. It may work for some people. I'm not saying, some people are really thriving in this. That
Yeah.
so they are, but I'm not. I don't thrive in this environment. This is not
I
my
don't either.
stuff.
No, not for me either. I've gotta have some peace. I've got to have some calmness, and then you can move out of that creative part of your mind and try to be thankful. Gratitude is really, you can't grow and you can't become self-aware and learn through the hard things that we go through without gratitude. And it's
Mhm.
hard sometimes, but you got to force yourself sometimes to be grateful in just a tiny thing, just like the birds singing. If that's all you can think of, hey, the birds are singing today, the sun is shining. And then it turns you into a gratitude and abundance mindset if you can be grateful for all the good things in your life.
I love that. And we all can do that. And it's very simple, and it does change everything. It does change everything. So that was so beautiful. Is there, I think we're gonna wrap it up. I know we can probably talk for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we covered most of it. So
yeah, I believe we went through the whole spectrum, and I'm not sure. You said you have your bowls next to you. Like, are you able to do like? No, you don't. No, it's okay.
no, I totally should have done that. That would have been really cool.
I have like a little taste for the audience. It's okay. No more.
Yeah, we'll have to do another one or like get a link for you or something. I'm wanting to do some more online stuff. I have a hotel event coming up where I have a weekend wellness event in
Ooh.
May at a historic Elgin Hotel in Marion, Kansas. And so I've got a website coming soon too, and I'm looking into recording and like seeing I got to get the right equipment so that the sound comes through for the sound bowls.
Yeah. Now, beautiful. Oh, definitely we can have another podcast and talk on even more specific things, and you can then give us a little
Yeah.
sample of some sound
Yeah.
for the audience
That
to have that, because as much as we have everything available, but we don't have your style and energy. There's something different in it, right? And I want the audience to feel that, because it will be different. Every sound,
yes.
some different things. So, which is beautiful.
Yeah. It's different every location you're at too, depending on the building, the room, if you're outside, if you're inside. So the sound is different. And so yeah, I'm working on figuring out how to do that. But I do travel, so I'm wanting to travel more to bring this to other places and hold events and things like that.
Yeah, amazing. People will absolutely love that. And I really love the setting you described at the beginning when you said like by the lake, by the beach, and then, integrating nature. And it's just so beautiful. And I believe that there are many, many people out there in the world who would love on you. And yeah, it's amazing. And is there anything that you would like to just add to wrap this up? Something you wanted to share, or, tell the audience? Anything that comes to you, please, it's your floor is open.
I don't know. I'm just very grateful for this opportunity. This would be like, I think my second podcast, but my first podcast about sound healing. And so I'm just very grateful that I'm here. I feel like it's absolutely a gift that I'm able to share. And as I share it with others, it helps me heal also on my healing journey. So I'm just thankful for that and for everyone that's listening and for you. And it's been great getting to know you. And I hope we can do this again.
Oh, absolutely. I'm on it. And I'm so happy and grateful to have you, because I feel like people need to hear this. And yes, please, I will have you on for sure again, and also have other guests. And I know my audience love that, getting to know about these different tools, because as you said before, for some, this may not be the tool right now or ever in this lifetime that they want to use, but that's why this, so everyone can share the unique tools they use, and then the audience can pick. And it's a very intuitive process, and whatever resonates, take it, and what doesn't, leave it. So that's
Exactly.
And thank you for your time. I know it's very precious and sacred, especially with your 4 kids, and we connected.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's been very fun.
Yeah, I definitely gonna do like a little bit of a sound healing before bed tonight, like a nice one.
Good.
Yeah. And Thank you so much, and have a beautiful rest of your day, and we will connect soon. And
Sounds great. Thank you.
thank you guys for listening in. And if you have any questions or anything, leave it in the comments below or DM me directly. And I will also add the contact details from Kylie. And as you have heard, guys, she will have her website soon, and then possibly some, online recordings that you can tune in and just feel the vibration and let it heal you and let it rise, shine, and anything that needs to be activated. So thank you so much, guys. And until next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Din's Talk. I hope today's conversation sparked something within you. Remember, you have the power to align with your soul, take bold action, and live a life fueled by passion. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and leave a comment if this episode resonated with you. And as always, do it, never stop. Until next time, keep claiming your fire and your power.